and up towards it.
Well, hello everybody, it's Suffolk Andy here, sitting on a little wooden bench in one of my favourite parts of Suffolk, and one of the most least known little places. I'm out here on the Shotley Peninsula, and this is a military cemetery that sits here, and it's so out of the way nobody actually knows it exists hardly, but it is such a lovely spot. The reason is it's quiet. All you can hear is the rustle of the trees and a few birds, and it's a lovely place to come and just relax, as easy as that. It's a bit windy today, but I'll give you a quick little walk around. Right, this is a little military cemetery. It's sailors. There used to be a big naval base called HMS Ganges, which is just down the river from here. And this is the military cemetery that goes with that. As you can see, there's even German sailors here who lost their lives in the First World War, but mostly it's English sailors. The thing that struck me most the first time I came here was the ages, and the majority of these crosses are for kids really. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, all here. It's unbelievable, you know. You get older sailors like 38, 17, 15, 35, 15, 16, 16, 16, no, 15, 32. Doesn't say on that one. But also, this monument here is for the submarines that were lost in the North Sea in the First World War. And each one of these crosses here represents a submarine and its crew that were lost, completely lost. And on the memorial there, it's got loads of lists of other submarines that were lost and the names of the sailors that were lost in them. But as you can see, it's a beautiful spot, quiet, just unbelievable. Right, like I say, we'll make our way now to HMS Ganges. As you can see, this is well out of the way. But, do you know, while I was sitting on that chair, while I was sitting there, sort of contemplating, I had a little bit of a thought went through my head, looking at all those young sailors who'd lost their lives in the First World War, and all those submariners. I thought, you know, most of the problems that we have today around the world with conflicts and problems and governments and stuff like that, it's all happened before. It's all happened before at other times in our history. So what I'm trying to say, without trying to get too deep into this, that the solution to most of the problems that we find ourselves in today have already been worked out in history, and the answer is there. I don't feel that politicians and the people who run this world ever look back in history. They might study it, but nobody actually looks back to the causes and the solutions. And a lot of the solutions are staring us right in the face. And if we could only sort of whittle them out, look at the solutions, we might actually find it could help. I don't know if you think, you know, I'm talking a load of shit here, but it's just something that came to me. The problems of the past could be the solutions of today. And I truly believe that. Right. If you can see that, that is a mast from the original HMS. That is a mast from the original HMS Ganges, when it was a boat in the river. Now you can see what state it's in. It's actually a registered monument for the country, but nobody's prepared to spend any money on it to keep it in good order. So it's basically just falling to pieces, and it should be kept for the nation, but nobody's interested, which is so sad. Even the top bit is broken off now. Many years ago, the sailors used to climb up, and there used to be a young lad called the Button Boy. He used to climb all to the top, and there was a round button on the top, and he'd stand up on it and stand up straight, and all the sailors were down the sides, and he was called the Button Boy. But as you can see, it's not looking good. Such a sad sight. I never knew it was in such a bad state. But it's one of our heritage monuments, and it is just falling to pieces. But if that was the Queen's place, it would be pristine. Never mind. Right, I'm going to make my way back to Ipswich. Got a few things to do. Yeah, but going back to what I was saying about history, I truly believe that a lot of the answers are locked in those history books. Things that could help us today to sort out some of the problems we're facing. But it seems to me the majority of our politicians are just not up to the job anyway. Most of them are career politicians or very wealthy men. I think the greatest politicians we ever had were probably in history, and I'm not saying that they done everything right, right, because they didn't. You know, Winston Churchill went down as one of the best prime ministers, war prime ministers this country ever had, but in peacetime he couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery. So it doesn't, sometimes you need great men to come forward and, solve the solutions that we're facing. And at the moment, we haven't got any great men. You can't tell me that, and I don't want to upset my American friends, Obama is a great man. I really don't think he is. And Cameron is a terrible man. And then we've got Millipede, a weird man. There doesn't seem anybody on the horizon anywhere who can stand up to other people. You've got, I'm short-ass little fucker Putin, who's sticking his chest out and using every friggin' excuse to do what he wants, and we can't do nothing about it. And he knows it. And it's so sad. If you looked into that history, there must be something somewhere that tells you how to keep a little shit like him under control, or what you can do. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking into it too simplistic. I'm actually finding this vlog very hard to do, because I don't think for 1 minute I'm clever enough to do the vlog like this, and I am struggling to work it all out myself. But it's just my view, you know. All my life I've wanted something different. You know, I've never been one to be happy with the status quo of things. I've always wanted things to be different. I've always realised that I come from a working family, a basic working family, and I don't want it more than that, and I'm proud of that. But I'd like more from the folks around me. I'd like to see more for folks who I don't even know. I just want people to have happy, prosperous lives. And they're not. They're not. And that is so sad. And I don't want to make this a sad vlog or anything like that. And I don't want to go on a rant over politics or anything like that. But we do need a change. And there's nobody out there to change us. Maybe the changes we need are the changes that came round, say, in Victorian times, when the squalor and the filth and the poor were the lowest of lowest. But changes came, and things changed, and people's lives got better. Maybe it's time that we looked at some of those values that came along and bring them into play now. And they would come out of history and use them and make people's lives better. I don't think for 1 minute I'm going to see any change in my life. I'm too damn bloody old. But I would like to see change for the youngsters. So yes, they can go out and buy a house. Yes, they haven't got to pay a friggin' rent to somebody who owns 10, 15, 20, 30 houses, you know, and pay that sort of money. You don't want them to have contract jobs. You don't want them to be unemployed or underemployed. You just want them to have a decent life where they can say, hey Dad, you know, I've got a few quid here, I might buy myself something decent. But I can't see that anymore because they're all under the burden of huge rents, mortgages if they're lucky, and underemployment. And it seems to me that a lot of the people who are running things at the moment look down at those youngsters, and it's just not fair. It is just not fair. And so I think, going back to what I was trying to explain, you know, maybe there's some answers in history, and maybe it's time that whoever's in charge of this planet, and I'm not going to go down that road, could give us something a little bit better than what we got. So anyway, I'm not going to go on and on. Do you know, I felt so good when I went down to the little military cemetery, and then when I see that mast from HMS, the original HMS Ganges, in such a state, it really brought me down to a downer. I'm now going to go back to Wittridge and get ready to go out tonight because I feel like having a few pints, you know, getting some beer down me. Anyway, everybody, I hope you can understand where I was coming from. I found it very hard myself to explain it. All ride safe. Suffolk Andy.